Alright, YouTube, a few things to go over here. Number one, Trump rescinded Obama's executive order which allowed transgender students to use whatever bathroom they want to. Now, I oppose this. Not Trump's decision, I oppose Obama's executive order. I think you should use the bathroom that your biological sex is. It's that simple. I know people want to think they're another gender, but they're not. Biologically speaking, you're either male or female. Or I mean, there is, I guess, a hermaphrodite, but that's rare. So when people want to change their pronouns, they're doing it out of what's called gender dysphoria. And basically, that's a mental illness. So these people who are transgender, they are mentally ill. So to accommodate them by allowing them to use whatever bathroom they want, that might be granting them their personal individual liberty and rights. However, that is stepping on the individual rights of those who do not want that. And there are far more those who do not want transgender free-for-all bathrooms as opposed to those who do. So I think this is a good order by Trump, what he did. However, I think this is a bad time to do it. Because now people are going to also use this to attack Trump. With the midterms coming up, this really is going to separate Congress out to see the protesters, the paid protesters and the actual protesters, the George Soros funded people, it doesn't matter. They are going to be demanding to see who is responsible, who believes that transgenders should not be able to use whatever bathroom they choose. And this could definitely dissuade many people from voting for those Republicans that may disagree with transgender rights. And that could also hurt Trump in the midterms. So I think the midterms are essential for the Republican Party. And Trump, by rescinding this order, could actually hurt him and the Republicans in the long run. We'll have to find out. I have to say personally, though, I do agree with it. Also, there is a representative in Florida, Matt Gaetz, who created a bill to remove, to eliminate, to completely get rid of the EPA by 2018, December 31st. So basically by 2019. And people are going to be freaking out over this as well. I don't see this getting past the Senate at all. Democrats would never allow that. People like Bernie, people like Warren, they would never allow that. However, America was always ran by federalism. And essentially what this would be doing would be giving the climate control regulations back to the states, which we reincorporating federalism back to America. And this is how it's always been. Now, essential bills like the Clean Water Act, those will remain. Those will absolutely remain. But a lot of what the EPA does, for instance, they give grants out internationally. So, for instance, they gave $120,000 of grants of taxpayer money to a plant in Mexico for a coal plant. They give grants out all over the world. It's estimated that with the regulations opposed from the EPA, it costs the taxpayers, American taxpayers, roughly $300 billion a year. That's from regulations. On average, we pay about, I think, $8.2 billion for the EPA and its administrative cost. The EPA employs 16,000 people. Many of them, we just found out, were caught watching pornography while at work. I mean, I'm not saying everyone is like that, but it's safe to say that their own personal regulations for their employment are far variance from what they limit on others. So the EPA, I would be for this. I think the EPA is a useless program, a department, and we should really get rid of it. I think it's more detrimental to the welfare of the American people by causing financial harm and ruin to the American people, as opposed to trying to protect the climate. Federalism can work if we allow it to work. It has worked for many years until Woodrow Wilson decided to be all greedy and be a true progressive. So now, you know that the states, all of a sudden, now Trump's president, they want to use more federalism in terms of sanctuary cities. But sanctuary cities is actually against the federal law. So I think we should do this. It'll never get past the Senate. Not unless 2018 comes around and the Republicans win 8 seats. If Republicans can win 8 seats in 2018, then that means they will have the 60 vote majority, which will bypass the filibuster, which will give them what they need. It'll probably pass the House, but it'll never have a chance in the Senate. So that's one thing kind of look forward to. But overall, I mean, that would save us a lot of money. I also think while we're on that subject, or we're on the subject of governmental departments, I think we should eliminate the Department of Education. That is one thing that should definitely go back to the states, because who besides the states, who knows better than the states on what is best for their education of their schools in the states? It's the states. The federal government has no theory, has no clue of how to handle, let's say, a poverty-stricken school in Florida and then a high suburb rich school in California. I mean, they're all different. They all have their own individuality here, and I think Department of Education, it would be wise to get rid of that as well, which Ron Paul has stated he would like to do, and I agree with Ron Paul on many of issues. And I think there's one more main topic I want to get into, but I cannot remember. Let me look here, see if I have anything popped up. No, I do not think I do. Except to say that New York Times and CNN, they had a press conference, a little gaggle going on there. Basically, it was like a press conference without the cameras, and they were not invited to it, and they were throwing a hissy fit. The mainstream media, the liberal media especially, are in complete shock that we have a president who is denouncing their vicious attacks on a daily basis. I agree that Trump needs to attack them. He may need to not do it as much as he is, but it's good that he is attacking them the way they are, because that's what Andrew Breitbart wanted. That's what Ben Shapiro says. That's what people like Steve Bannon say. People look at Bannon like he's a evil racist, but if you actually listen to the guy speak, he's quite intelligent. So I do find that extremely ironic how they question the morality of someone like Bannon, yet they want to put someone like Keith Ellison, the head of the DNC, who is a racist, who is violent. Or they support people like Reverend Jackson or Obama's communist priests. It's people like that, the hypocrisy is just truly astounding between the progressive left and the right. And the media, who decides what is right and what is wrong based on political affiliation and not necessarily the morality of what is going on. So, I think we'll call that good. I'm done.